Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
That's right. 1 hour audience, please continue with us. Lord Holy-Apostle Deen, Holy Queen Mother have you.
But let me just say this here. There's always a flip side to everything. And one thing that people have to realize is that Ahezaah is not out of the equation of nothing that takes place. And it does everything for a reason. Even if we can't see the purpose, it is a purpose. That purpose is just beyond us. You understand? So in what we're talking about, there's a flip side to it. Like I was telling Holy Apostle yesterday about Harriet Tubman. Allah allowed Harriet Tubman. She must have had a sincere prayer to the Lord Most High. And she sacrificed herself for something that she believed wholeheartedly in. To go and rescue people from, take them out of slavery. And she went on about doing that without getting caught because the Lord protected her. You understand? So it ain't that the Lord don't hear. It's what the Lord going to respond to. And sometimes when the Lord responds to you, it'll answer your prayers, as people say, and that be a rope around your neck, choking you to death until the day you do pass on from this life, and then go to the hells of the next life. So when you look at things, you have to look at things and don't take Ahezaah out of the equation. Just like 500 years ago, when they call themselves being free from slavery. When was it? 500 years ago? So 500 plus, let's say plus. It's being free from bondage, from slavery. Oh, we free now, we free now. They called on the law much when they was getting that they behinds women going through the hardship and what have you. And after they got free, they forgot all about the law.
No, you're not talking about 500 years ago. You're talking about
since the Civil War, which is less than 200 years.
Yeah, it was 500 years plus of slavery.
When they brought it.
Right. But see, the Lord do things, but the Lord knows a man. See, people have a tendency, oh, God knows my mind. God knows my heart. Trust and believe. Don't say that because it do.
Do you know that during the time, in that time period, that they was snatching us and conquering, or I should say, snatching our people and conquering them from Africa? Nostradamus was prophesying about what was going to become of us today when they was taking us. Now, you talking about Allah doing something. Huh?
15th century.
Yeah. While they was taking us away, he was prophesying. The Lord was telling them then.
And it's not even mainly the Caucasian people that try to get African American people to not talk about slavery, to forget it, or forget African American people that get mad and the most angry and worked up about
the people that think they have the most to gain by being quiet and not stirring up.
They not being able to go out and get that car or be able to have that position at that job. They don't want.
My grandmother, man, she was like, you better not mention slavery to her.
What do you imagine was the motivation of the so-called slave that wanted to stay on the plantation, who didn't want to
Well, it's just like the jailbird man who gets free and he can't live out here and say, I gotta go back. You can get accustomed to anything, man, conditioned to anything.
And you can't
look at us, those of us, many of us who claim to be of Islam or the truth of peace, of Allaah, of the Lamb, the all-knowing, but at the same time, we don't want to free ourselves from the demons that we hang out with.
Right.
I mean, how true are we to ourselves? You got so many people, man, in so many conditions saying so many things, but they're not true to themselves. They didn't get so accustomed to what they're all about that they don't want to make that change. In order for you to make a change, you have to dislike something. Now, How many people dislike themselves enough to really go to the Lord and say, tell me what I should be, what you know I need to be. Change me. No, I love myself. Oh, don't change me. See? It ain't happening. But see, when the wrath of Allah comes, the wrath of Allaah, and when they see the signs of the Ah, it's like, hey, wait a minute, what can we do? You know? Many people make wholehearted prayers when the wrath of Allah is upon them. And that's what's happened to this right. country. That's why you get the Caucasian women who usually sit back and let fools like Oprah and the rest of them who want to have a voice stand out and say all these things. They coming out saying, wait a minute, we need help. Why you Muslims won't help us? You know? And now what Muslims are they talking about? Huh? Are they talking about people like Muhammad Ali who could go to a country and say, hey man, let these people go, and they say, all right, brother, we'll let them go for you. Or are they talking to Caucasian Muslims like themselves who they really don't know?
I mean, they don't know, like.
They don't relate to them. See, one thing about African Americans, we're flamboyant. We outstanding. So in Islam, we outstanding in the United States of America. We outstanding. We stand out, in other words. You know? And they know that there's a lot of them that relate to them people over there. They know a lot of the people, African Americans, want to be free of the hurt that they're putting on us. And it ain't that we're not patriotic. We are lovers of the world. We're lovers of the earth. You know? And they know that. They know they talking about unpatriotic. What would give us reasons to be non-patriotic? Somebody got to be messing with us. Somebody got to be making it so hard that if we be successful, many of us want to go to France or Spain or Italy to live. And you know that's historical for many entertainers. They said, well, let me go over here. Look what they did to little poor Michael who was just calling for peace in the world and stuff. And once he accepted Islam, it was over for him. That was it. Michael J. accepting Islam. Oh no, we can't have that. And all of a sudden he mysteriously get taken out by his doctor, who had a lot to gain by keeping him alive. Maybe had more to gain by seeing him dead. Who knows?
You know, the powers that be. One thing, even if you don't have proof of it, you cannot dismiss what they're capable of doing to keep. How to say? Someone said it's hard job to rule the world.
Well, you know, you say you don't need proof, or
you know something that.
But see, people talk about what is proof? Something that you could grab hold to of somebody admitting, or just look at the world. Because the world is your proof. The communities of man is your proof. The diseducation of man is your proof. The things that I've educated you about, the things I talk about, these things are not something that Allah just sent down for the first time. These things have been down since the time of man. That's the proof right there. By them keeping it from us. How is it that every African American who cursed the Lord and make jokes about the Lord and curse our people are made famous in theater, on television, in the media? Why is that happening? Famous in the entertainment world. Who opening them doors for them and saying, okay, let them through and let them through? Because see, I know that there are people who said, don't let Holy Apostle through certain areas. I know that. I have proof of that.
Yeah, people don't want to realize that all the media that we're exposed to is controlled.
Yes, it's controlled.
And they want to believe, well, I heard this on TV, so it must be true. It must be
I seen it in a book or in the newspaper.
Who's letting that get to the TV screen or in that book being published? or on that radio show to be heard. Like, you gotta understand that they're filtering and you're being exposed to what they would have you be exposed to.
Yeah.
To
control you.
Just like what their kids just celebrated Christopher Columbus Day off, and nobody will tell the truth, and Caucasians know the truth. How can you discover a land that people already
had?
That's just like coming to my house and say, "Oh, okay, I just
discovered this house,
and I'm gonna live here. You gotta move out."
No, not you gotta move out. Get out before I kill you.
Right. So when they talk about terrorists and they want answers from the Muslim about the terrorists that's going on, well, why can't you answer the question about how you terrorize the Indians? Let's talk about your terroristic acts. You know?
But not just that, the terrorism that they put on our people still today.
Right.
You know, you got certain organizations of the paramilitary that want crime to be because that's their money.
Correct.
You got many of them that will turn their head away from the criminals and get the honest citizens who didn't get their car inspected. Stand out on the highways trying to catch people who got jobs and who might be behind and following the master's orders to get their cars inspected and so forth and so on at certain time. And or with the tricks that they got going on now with all these cameras and the lights, and then like you can turn right on red, but then they got a little sign somewhere where you can't hardly see it, and
halfway
boom,
down
boom.
the block.
All kinds of little stuff, and monitoring you everywhere you go. That's terrorism. Bringing you to court. Talking to you any kind of way, and if you talk back, they, you what they call that?
Contempt
of the court. That's terrorism. When you stand up there shaking at your knees because you're innocent, but they can say you're guilty
and throw you in jail.
That's terrorism. Terrorism is when somebody can take your human rights away from you and do whatever they want to do to you. That's terrorism. It's terrorism on all different levels. Newark used to be full of terrorists in blue uniforms with guns and badges. And they bringing them back. And they making a mistake. They're going to redo what they did before 1967. You got guys out there harassing people now for double parking. Race harassing. Now, if you want to go and harass somebody for double parking, everybody in Newark police that want to go and harass somebody, they should sit them down to the east section, to the ironbound section, where all them Caucasians do is double park. You can't hardly get through the city down there, and no tickets are being given out.
Right.
Double standards, man. When you got double standards, that's forms of terrorism. All this injustice is going on in the world, and in this world where they say we are of the free, man, it's a fallacy, man.
A double standard. I was even thinking, you mentioned that section of town. When you come back into the hood, per se, you got bad services, you got terrorism, even in the bad services that you get in the supermarkets, in the banks, and wherever you might go to get service. It seems like the service is so much noticeably poorer than if you go into another section of town.
Well, the worst service is when you go into the service for these agencies that works for the state, state agencies, man, they can be so nasty, so negative, but I don't want to get so deep into that. But it's the truth, and it's an attitude that these people have because they sit with the people in power. They get certain attitudes, not realizing that they're human beings and they can get struck out in whatever way the Lord wanted to strike them out. But It's an eye-opening thing, man. I said it back in the 80s, man. They're going to be calling for us to help them. You know? And here they go, calling for us to help them. And what can we do? You know, how people gonna respect us when we've been put under the foot of these people all the time? How they gonna respect us?
You got these young soldiers from all different parts of the U.S., Midwest, and all parts of the U.S. and they're in this Mideastern country, don't know the culture, don't know the language, or they just got big guns. You know what I'm saying? Pointing them at people, and they expect to get results that way over a war that supposedly we in fighting wars in multiple countries over there, and it's over something supposedly a handful of people did with 9/11. Like, it's not even like there was a country over there that declared war against us or made an act of war. We in countries fighting wars over a few individuals' actions, and that's if that.
Look at this thing here. This is very serious and it's very big. She's saying, why won't we go and say something to those people who are doing these things to America? Prove our patriotism. Bush need to prove his patriotism. Bush and his father, they need to prove their patriotism. They tricked the whole nation into a war for personal grudge. We were looking for bin Laden in Afghanistan. How we end up in Iraq? How that happened? How bin Laden became Saddam Hussein? And nobody's making these people answer for the lies they told to get us in the war and have some of our people killed. A life is a life. Isn't that terrorism? Isn't that reverse terrorism on our part? Let's go get this country for this guy here. Forget about bin Laden right now. Let's get this one. Me and my father wanted to get this one. And the bin Laden still running around talking. They found Hussein in a hole. He was in a hole hiding.
Bin Laden just came out with a new video. It's like he a rapper or something.
What's going on? See, you know what I'm saying?
And
there's certain partnerships that the jinn have that the common folk, they're so ignorant they refuse to acknowledge it. They rather hear what they hear and say nothing and go on shows and talk about everything else. You know? But see, one thing about reality, when reality hit people, they always say ah. They always call for ah. El-ah. The ah. And Allah says they're going to call for it. They're going to call for it. Things going to get so bad, they're going to call for the messenger of Allah. And I'm just sitting back waiting. Because I got a whole lot of information. Just waiting. You know? It said they're going to call for it. It's going to call for me. Things going to get bad. They're going to get worse and worse and worse. It's going to be much worse before it gets better. But these Caucasian women, like Diane Sawyer, they realize what's going on. And I told you years ago, a long time ago, that they're not going to stand for it. They're going to tell their men to get the hell out the way. Huh? It ain't no more time for conquering nations for us to put diamonds on our fingers. Get the hell out the way. You know, we want to live. We want to survive. You know? Realness come, man. You know, all that other stuff don't mean nothing. What were you about to say?
Well, that aside, not even looking at even the signs of the natural disasters going on, you know, along with the man-made disasters, of his mind, his economy. It seems like there's no more spending money anymore. Even the people that once had money don't have money. You know, it's like the very jinn, the most hidden ones are the last ones left.
But see, that's go to show you, here go they trick again. This is their country, and they make their money. They can print all the money they want to.
They can do whatever they want to.
They can do whatever they want to. So, but they devise things to create disorder, divide and conquer, to overwhelm. People out of work, but you got companies in this country that makes billions and billions of dollars a year. But now they outsourcing the job to another country so they can make more billions and billions of dollars a year. So and we have a government that we have allowed to do this. That's the thing about voting. You vote for people that you can't fight. You really ain't got to say about what in the hell is going on. You don't have a say. They just trick you to make you think you have a say. If Bush could take the presidency
twice,
who said that we got a say? That was clear evidence for everybody in the world that was watching. We ain't got nothing to say. We just go along with the game. They don't understand that people of power really take our lives like it's a chess game.
Just think about this here. Once upon a time, this nation ran mostly on a barter system where they traded to make a living. You know, you got a cow, I need some milk. I got some grain here. For your cow's milk, here's some grain. You know what I mean? But they say that we can't survive. It's because they don't want us to survive. You know? You got scientists that's running around here talking about them destroying the world today. You got, archaeologists talking about how they destroying the world. But these people have never had real power. They are slaves too. And they've been put up on programs as the greatest minds. When they're not the greatest minds. And if you can look at a great mind as being a powerful mind, because with their great mind, how is people controlling them and telling them what to say and what not to say and how to deceive and then when to be truthful? You know?
So those most powerful ones made in our perceptions truly don't have the power?
No, the ones that's most powerful are the jinn, the ones that's hidden. Hidden behind these faces that you see.
It goes back to the slavery, just like how many of the inventions and things that we use every day were made by African American people, and they never got any credit for it. The same thing with these minds today. There's somebody at a higher level that's manipulating what's being said.
Just like, Oprah Winfrey said something the other day to Serena Williams, the tennis player, said something about men, and she probably was talking about African American men, but men are afraid of powerful women. And when they get with them, they have to take their power so that they can feel like they're the man in the relationship, something like this here. You know what I mean? Now, she really believes she's powerful. If she believes herself to see, because she's not powerful.
She's just rich.
And she's not rich. She has a lot of money. She's financially well off. As long as they allow her to be. You see, being powerful means you have something that no one can take. Everything she has, someone can take from her. That's not powerful. That's not full in power.
Somebody might think that, because she has a talk show and she has influence on so many people that she has power, but just like the
jinn are using her because she has been the greatest destroyer of the African American family this nation has known among African Americans. There's been no one used to the height of Oprah Winfrey to destroy the black man, the African American man, the leaders of the African American nation. She has done a greater job of destroying our people than the Caucasian slave masters could ever do.
Yeah, if she was to take something from somewhere else and start saying something they didn't like, her show would be canceled.
If she make a mistake and step up and say, I really don't believe that is hogwash I'm talking. I'm tired of this being a slave. She's finished.
That's worse than they're talking about the beef industry and they
she done. And then she got all these Caucasian women coming to her show and they applauding her. But do you see any of them who their men, who's in power for real, can open the door for them? Do you see any of them being thrown out there to say all these outlandish things against their men? Their race of people? No.
So see, just like the guy Rick Sanchez from CNN, he made a comment about someone on TV being a bigot, and he said that the Jews run the country and the media, and they fired him off his show. This show was very popular.
Very popular.
Prime time to get him off the air.
Less than 24 hours.
Yeah, because you can't be telling the truth, just like Jimmy the Greek. He said that African Americans were raised like horses and cattle. You know, they were breaded. You know, to achieve certain things, and they get out of here.
And he told the truth. And then NAACP and Bill Cosby got mad, and I said, okay, why? Why
he
you
just
mad?
Told the truth.
Because you don't like to be reminded of it? Because why did you get mad? Because the kids needed to hear that. Because he told the absolute truth.
Just like the kids need to know what nigga is. We don't need to lose that word.
Right.
And the meaning of that word. We don't have to be a nigga, but we need to keep that word and let our people know where it came from. We need to keep the history of slavery. Why they won't keep the history of slavery?
Because they want us to forget.
Why they won't keep the history of these race riots that has happened all around the world, and they only give them up in documentaries?
Right.
Why they don't bring that to the education forum in public schools on a continuous basis?
But they'll teach you about the riot against the King of France and
like you really need to know what the hell is going on in France.
They need to educate. They need to educate their people and our people as to why riots come about. For real. You know,
slavery in the sports, like you don't see at the end of the hockey game or the baseball game, the cameraman, the microphone in the hockey player's face before he get off the ice. They wait till they showered in the locker room, change clothes, they get their interview, and they're prepared. But NBA, the guy didn't finish shooting the last shot of the game before the camera microphone in his face. He's dripping sweat, out of breath, asking him
how he feel about something,
how he feel about the rotation of the earth spin. Some big young they ask some crazy questions.
They said they catch him there after the heat of the game, whether they won or lost or something like that. Oftentimes catch them in the heat of the game, so they don't make an inflammatory statement. And then newspaper articles. So said this: he's a racist, he's a sexist, he's a beast. You know, whatever.
Well, that's the power of men. You know, that's the power of the jinn, man. They make the rules and the laws and the orders. You know. And it's unfortunate that many of their rules, laws, and orders goes against the divine laws and orders and rules. You know?
Right. And make sure that they keep that out of the equation.
Yeah.
Like somebody made a joke. They said that the Caucasian people took God out of schools. But after 9/11, they threw that back in there. So they said God so many times. He said, I know they don't know God, but they sure know the word. And how
what's
they
that guy named Mooney?
Paul Mooney.
He keeps it real. He's funny. You know, he's funny. He tell it like it is, you know. But, you know, we're in a sad state of affairs now. Right. But look at what's happening, you know. My thing to the community of A.H.A.D, the people I've been talking to since 1979, with these things happening, take face value in it. Remember that we said these things would happen. You know, where these people now are going to be calling on us for help. They're raising our people up because they want to be saved. You know? So we about to get up out of here and got that 1 minute sign going on.
We hate to go, but we'll see our audience maybe next week. Again, not maybe next week, we'll see you next week.
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you